Hello, AV friends, and welcome to an episode of EdTech, coming to you from ISE. So today we're going to be a little bit different than usual. We don't have our regular panel of higher ed AV professionals, but I did manage to find an international panel of higher ed AV professionals. So without further ado, I will introduce my gang here. So we have with us Justin Dawson from Dublin City University in Ireland.
Hello, thanks for joining.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about what you do there.
I am a senior tech officer in the School of Nursing, Psychotherapy and Community Health in Dublin City University. What does that mean? I look after all things tech in my school. We have some clinical skills labs, we have some simulation that we have to look after, and then we do some live events with nursing symposiums as well.
Fantastic. And we also have joining us Andrew Haggert from Wilfrid Laurier University in Canada.
Yep.
Welcome.
Hello, thank you very much.
And tell us a little bit about what you do over there.
I'm the manager of AV projects and technical support. So we have about 160 teaching spaces, plus some meeting rooms, and of course auditorium spaces and event locations. And my team and I take care of all of the maintenance and all of the operations for those spaces.
Fantastic. All right, so here we are. We are at ISE.
The last day.
Right?
The last day.
Like for me, across the pond, of course, for Andrew also,
Yeah.
And Justin, kind of a smaller hop, skip, and a jump over.
Right.
But yeah, so it's the last day, and as opposed to myself, who is an ISE first-timer, you both have been to this show before. How has this year been different from years past? Do you want to start, Justin?
Yeah, how's it been different? 2 more halls, 7 and 8, which I still haven't got over to, and it's 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m. in the day. I hope to get over to them. But with that expansion has been, it's made it more comfortable when you're walking around as well. Sometimes you would see a booth and you go, I don't get why this booth fits into this hall, compared to Hall 1, all lighting and staging, Hall 2 and Hall 3, and 3 being all users collaboration. It was easier to find your way around. Now, having said that, easier to find yourself a way around, but there's still over 1,000 plus booths to see. It's tough.
It is a lot.
It is a lot.
And I did not, everyone says, it's bigger than Infocom. It is, but a whole lot of tech out there, and I still didn't really fully grasp the massiveness of this, and then got here and was like, oh. I knew I was going to get my steps in, but didn't quite expect quite what I saw. And how about yourself, Andrew?
So I went to, the first IAC I went to was in Amsterdam. It was in 2020, so it was the last one just before COVID. So there were some vendors that had pulled out late in the presentations there, but it was still pretty crowded, and it's a beautiful city to have a conference in. Mm-hmm. Then last year I came here, and the crowds were still pretty high, and it was the first time I saw something that was so big in this city, certainly. And this year, of course, is much more crowded. There's a lot more vendors, and there's a lot more crowds. So I was impressed by last year and this year, but this year is much more crowded, a lot more vendors, a lot more interest, and as you were saying, the separation really makes a difference of the different categories. It helped organize me.
Amsterdam, they outgrew Amsterdam.
They did.
They did. And did you get lost? How many times did you get lost per minute in the ride? It's Tetris.
I did get lost. It's well organized here. It's a nice straight path from hall to hall to hall to hall, and just branches out. And
the ride is like this.
Yeah, it was easy to get. It was easy to get around. I got to where I had to go pretty easily.
Excellent. So. Andrew, you have been to InfoComm already.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Justin has not had the experience.
Coming soon.
There you go.
Will be in Vegas with us, absolutely. But how would you say this compares?
One of the differences I felt I've gone to InfoComm at both Las Vegas and in Orlando, and I found they're obviously smaller. They have the same kind of organization with the halls. I found there's some more hands-on things in InfoComm than are here, specifically in the rigging and staging areas. But other than that, there's the same. You see the same actors that are in the same booths at the different places. So it's great for the North American people to travel more closely to these kind of events. And it's kind of nice that it goes back and forth to the west and to the east in North America. So
Yeah, I feel like
shorter plane ride too. For me,
very true. Very true. If with ISE, it is because it has grown to such a large size, it kind of does limit where it could be held, and so I guess
absolutely it does.
Yeah. And it makes sense to just be in one location year after year until eventually maybe they outgrow it. But it sounds like the FIDA itself has plans for expansion, and then hopefully the AV community will expand along that, with that.
I think all of these places really support conferences. There's lots to eat, lots to do when you're out of the hall and your feet are killing you. It's nice. There's lots of places that are close certainly for hoteling and staying, but also for things to do. Lots of entertainment opportunities here for sure.
Yeah, I think when you left the Rye, it was a nightmare, not just with taxis, but there was one small subway or metro to get back to the airport.
Right.
And it always was crowded, and there was always problems with the ticket machine. Now, that isn't the fault of ISE, but it felt harder to commute to the Rye than it does to the FIRA.
Yeah.
I believe,
Yeah, I'm really impressed by public transportation here. There's obviously public transportation limitations in Las Vegas. They have a SkyTrain, but it doesn't get everybody fast enough to where they have to go. So there's a lot of taxi service and a lot of coach buses that take you around, which takes more time. And then, of course, in Orlando, there's almost nothing. Everyone's taking a coach or a taxi to there. So public transportation really makes a big difference here, and I really enjoy it.
Absolutely. I think that's a statement in general about Europe as a whole. There is such more of a focus on public transport. And I did love that ISE offers a public transport pass
that's right.
for the attendees. And that's definitely something that we just don't see in North America as much.
Yeah, it's so easy. You arrive, you get your badge, or you pre-print your badge. A lot of people did, and then just go up to the booth and they scan your badge and you get your ticket for the 4 days. It was great.
I really liked it. I only found out on the last 2 days of last year at ISE that they offered that option to have a subway or transportation pass, and it's great. What I also love this year is the badge comes in a paper holder.
Yes.
I thought that was very environmentally thoughtful. No more plastic, because we've all been to lots of conferences where plastic is where your name badge goes. So I liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that was a kind of a good segue, because let's talk about sustainability and how have you seen sustainability become more and more of a topic, especially at a show of this scale, where it's all the lights, all the glitz, all the what. It's very much a power draw, and then the actual booths themselves then somewhat become waste.
Well, a lot of the technology that I'm looking at, that is one of the features that they talk about is that it's more of a power saver than the predecessor technology that's out there. So even the lights in the studio, there's no incandescent anything almost in this whole building probably. There might be a little bit of fluorescent around, but we're LED. We're really turning into that, and that's one of the big power sucks.
But even this booth that way in, and I know Sony, Midwich have this booth, and it's all made out of wood. It's recyclable. Sony did the exact same thing. They gave their tour. They talk about sustainability. They talk about that. Yes, these are our stats of energy saving. But it's great that if they're not using this again, it is recyclable.
I've noticed that some on the booth they take down the booths and they use the booths again, which is nice and sustainable. I mean, I'm just looking here. I have a paper cup.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
we're trying not to have these bottles around. Now there are lots of bottles still out there, but the more thoughtful places are thinking about the environment that's in their booth,
Absolutely.
sustainability in their booth.
Yeah, it's refreshing that it's more intentional from years past, that they're making it more of a point, not only in their tech, but with little things like not bottled water. Well, yeah. And so in planning to come to this show, did you have an approach, Justin? Did you have a plan in mind?
Yes. This year, I did 2 Amsterdams, and this is my second at Barcelona. But when I was in Amsterdam, I was going from the airport to my hotel to the RAI and reverse. This year and the same last year, I came over for the week, but you're constantly working. You're constantly looking for something to record, you're looking for something to edit, you're trying to think of what to bring back to your campus, and then you arrive home. It's like, so did you enjoy your week? It's like, I worked all week. So I added in 2 extra days this year and came over on the Sunday before ISC. And I think if you had the time, if your work or your employer allows you to come off of that time, get the extra 2 days in to see some stuff. Because ISC have their tech tours as well. They're doing the new camp. Oh, no, they're not doing the new camp. They're going to Barcelona to a football club to do a tech tour. But there's the Sagrada Familia, there's like Park Güell. See a bit of Barcelona instead of working all the time. I think you guys have to travel so far. It'd be insane to just come over just for ISC.
I came with a group of education technologists in the higher education sector, and we've been traveling around a lot together usually, and then we'll break off and do our own thing. And my approach was the first day, I'm just going through every hall, just looking to see where everything is, get the lay of the land, and with no intention to see anyone in particular or anything in particular, just getting ideas. Second day, I go back and look for those ideas, look at things I noted on the first time, and then on the third day, I'll go visit some of the more common suppliers and manufacturers I would technically use, normally use. I mean,
but it's one of these things, like, you do not get to see everything in 2 days. You need to do the week. If you can do the week, do the week. Yeah. Because by Friday, at least I was going through my list going, okay, what is it that I still need to see?
Yeah.
And is it important that I still need to see this?
Yes.
Like you can feel the drop off. Like you go Monday and average crowd, and then Wednesday the peak of ISE. Like I'm looking forward to seeing the actual stat from Mike Blackman, but I'm hearing it was the biggest ISE on Wednesday that's ever been in 20 years.
I would say I felt like there was 15 to 20% more crowd. I don't know, but it just felt that way. And and you're mentioning Friday. Yes, Friday, it's crowded the first couple of days, but today's Friday, and riding the metro in, it was much later.
Yeah.
So this is actually a good day. If you can stay to Friday, this is a great day to talk to people, because sometimes you might have to stand in line to talk to someone. Today's the day.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And today, I think if you are a swag collector, the last day is always the best day to go, because they don't want to take that stuff home with them. So
It's coming home with me.
So yeah, when I was planning my, walk around, I think I sort of changed my thinking a little bit, because originally I was like, well, I want to hit the things that I use. But then I thought about it and was like, I have my regular reps that I see regularly. They keep me up to date on the things that that they're
The new
up
products,
to.
yeah.
So I'm like, why would I go, travel all the way here to
See something
the
that you
same-
know already. Yeah. right.
Exactly. It's like, so unless I knew that there was like something that was, breaking, like something, they've got the new here, and it's going to be something that solves a problem I'm having, then I'll go and check it out. But I think now, like, my mindset changed to more I'm going to hit things that I don't normally get exposed
Right.
to, that may very well solve one of my problems. But then on the other side of the coin, I wanted to kind of take a look at the perimeter, at the like smaller things that I normally would not have even looked at, sort of the little diamonds in the rough. And then, maybe I'm going to see something that solves a problem I didn't even realize I had.
Yeah. I think the whole idea of Congress Square and having those startups are so important, because that's where you will see it. I think in years to come, and I don't think it's going to be that many years to come, you'll see another hall dedicated just to these type of startup companies, or even, having a half day where people can come and pitch with some of their stuff, because there's so much new little device. I think a great one there where it was language translation by AI, it was real time, it was software license based, and it's like, even for people with accessibility and needs, it's perfect. Or if you want to change it for languages for an international live event in your university, you have that ability.
Yeah, what can I say? I didn't come here with thinking as much about the problem solving as what did I want to bring back to suggest to my campus and suggest to my departments what they might use or what's out there, so I could pitch to them. This might enhance, or this might bring better service to students or better service to your department. So. Absolutely,
and that. Let's talk more about that tech. Did you find something that, in particular, like we can name names. It's okay. Let's name some names. Like, was there something you found that was like, this is the perfect product for higher ed tech, like for your university or universities in general?
Well, the first thing that I'm attracted to right now is we came through a pandemic. We had to change a lot of our classrooms to have web conferencing capability.
Right.
So a lot of our classrooms have kind of the basic web conference capability. Some of our faculty are now wanting to record more of their classes. Maybe it's a flipped classroom where you have a recording of a lecture. They want to record their lectures. They don't want to necessarily do it in their office using Zoom, which is a fine product, and we use it. But they may not want to use that as a recording platform. So I'm preparing to make a pitch to have small recording studios. Maybe and it'll have maybe a whiteboard and a small lectern or a place to sit, but it'll be a professional recording device.
Right.
And that could upload by itself, start-stop button, like they have with Epiphan. Epiphan has a product to do just that. Very simple, but very powerful, very professional. So I'm going to set up some.
You can remote into it. You can use your green screens.
You can use a green screen or not. But yeah, you could. So it's a self-serve, more professional environment for them to lecture capture. Not necessarily in a big classroom, but just by themselves.
Yeah.
I loved the Artome. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The ARTOME. I know, but it's an all-in-one, in-the-box solution. There's your projector. They're using Epson projectors on top. You can get the projector depending on what size of display you want to project. You can have a microphone receiver in it. You have, and it's on wheels.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I saw it last year as well, so yeah.
Yeah. It's a super box. And then the AI as well. I came across Aurora had a solution where it's their little touch screen. I'm sure there's code names for these models, but their little touch screen was literally a cube size. It had microphone, speaker, power over Ethernet, beamforming microphones, and you can program the screen touch screen to whatever way you want. And I thought, there's a solution that you can use in any type of environment, whether it be higher ed, whether it be hospitality, whether it be conferencing. And like the example I was having, like a button to vote and mute the mic. You know, you could really, when you put something of that size into a small cube with everything built in and one cable, I like that.
Yeah, you both hit on like some of the things that I've was like that's good, those are good, and those are I know all three of the companies that were mentioned, they are super responsive to feedback, and things that they had here are newer models of original products that they have adjusted because of the feedback that they've heard from people in higher ed to, you know, make things better for us, sell more products for them. Like it's wonderful to see these companies like really taking user feedback to heart, especially since that's really what it's all about. It's about the user experience and making sure that, you know, we need to have the tools to give to our end users because, you know, we are technically end users ourselves in a setting like this, but it is really kind of refreshing to.
I think that's what I get out of this too. I get to speak to the manufacturer, and when they see I'm a user from a school. I get to tell them what I need. They're not. I don't want them to sell me something. I might be already using one or more of their products, but I can tell them what. And that's part of the job I like to do here is to tell them what I need next. What they can add. And sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it comes through, and it's part of my participation.
I strongly believe that only changed in the past 4 or 5 years, pre-pandemic, because it was not until the pandemic hit that, you know, all of a sudden higher ed seemed very important of what we're doing, what we're trying to achieve, and we were doing virtual too. And I feel that maybe we had to do virtual too because you're talking about education and it doesn't stop, you know. So like I remember my first ISE in Amsterdam, I was going around to different booths, and you know, I used to work in the private sector before I moved into higher ed, and you would feel that the treatment they were giving you was completely different because there's someone that works in the private sector in a financial firm, like my colleague, one of my previous colleagues was walking around with me. They were giving him more attention because he got more of that, versus the fact that, yes, we still need the product. And I think only after COVID that people are, and of course with HETMA and what's going on in the States, you know, that they're finally listening to this vertical.
Absolutely, yeah. There has definitely been a huge shift in much more like respect and understanding of like higher ed and what we do, and we're not really considered typical end users anymore. And definitely, like when people see that we're from universities, they actually want to talk to us. As to in the past, they kind of be like, "Oh, well, you're not with an integrator or somebody who's going to be pushing our product, so I don't want to spend time with you."
Yes, higher ed universities have the integrators, but it's important for us to be over here at ISE. But I think the shift also comes from that you don't need a programmer all the time. AI, I've gone there, I've used the word AI, but like it's there and helping. It's become more simple, it's become more user-friendly to do online training and be able to come out with a solution. Like, a lot of these things are one box.
Yeah.
You know, Epiphan is one box. The Aurora is one box, well, a couple of boxes, but like in room, one box doing everything. You know, and they are Tomy, one box. There's the projector, there's the microphones, there's the receiver, there's the speaker, all in one box that you can wheel and mobile unit to any room or any place.
I think also that higher ed and educators are getting more more respect or being heard more because our suggestions are coming from a place from technicians and from designers. I have a designer in my team. I have technicians on my team. So and I'm a technician. I have a technical background, just like a lot of my colleagues coming from higher ed to this show, and when they get a lot of respect from or when they communicate with a commercial or a corporate client, they talk to them differently. They talk to them from a sales point of view. We talk to them from a functional point of view, and then we can help them sell more product. Actually, we want to use your product. Listen to us more because.
Yeah, or can we do a case study on this? Can we borrow some equipment and try it out?
I borrow equipment all the time. And I make arrangements all through here to borrow their equipment to try it out.
Yeah.
And a corporate customer wouldn't do that.
No.
But we would.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring it back to the real world and kick it around.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think one of the things that I've been looking for more is flexibility and simplification of things. And so when you were talking about like the one box, the one button, like that's the direction like we need to go in.
Mm-hmm. Like it is important to have the one box solution, but like also make sure that, you know, does that increase the point of failure, you know, if it's in one box. You know, with our Tomy, like, yeah, the projector is there. It's an Epson projector in one box. It's a receiver. I don't know which make of receiver it was in one box. But like, if something did fail, at least you can still replace it. You know, like sometimes you go, if we put everything into one box and it fails, well, yeah, maybe we can switch out the box, but.
Right. Ease of use is the biggest seller for me. Not necessarily the one box, but the ease of use and for the technology to be transparent to the user.
You've hit a good word there, the transparency of it. You know, being able to, like, having good web interfaces, you know, behind the scenes that you can either remote onto, see it, that like it doesn't need a master's degree or a programming degree to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if my programmers or my configurators of the systems do their job well and do their homework, then it's going to be a breeze for anyone to walk into my classrooms and be able to operate it.
Oh yes, because it needs to, an user interface needs to be something that's intuitive, and they're not going to have to like
and common from room to room to room to room. They get the same experience anywhere they go.
Absolutely, yes. I am a firm believer in the standardized room to give the same experience, even if behind the scenes it could be a little bit different, even though from a support standpoint, hate that, but that's not as important as what the user gets to see. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to start wrapping this up, but do you have any last things that you want to say about the show, this week, anything?
Well, I had a great show. I had a great time here, and I enjoy coming here. I enjoy going to Infocom, but I think I'd like to come back here again because it's a much bigger environment. There's a lot of new product that doesn't necessarily have North American representation yet. But I can start poking my distributors now, saying, "Hey, you may want to pick this up. You may want to pick this up." And I think, as you said, there's a lot of new ideas from small inventors. You see the smallest booths all the way around the outside. They don't have a lot on their tables, but you look at their stuff and they've got really great ideas. And maybe they're going to be the next manufacturer that gets bought out, or their one product explodes. So I like to watch them to see what's new.
That's the key thing. You can be driven to the way it's set up here at the Fira. You can be driven into the middle aisle And whoa, we're in Hall 3, look at that screen. Whoa, there's Panasonic with a movable wall. There's Samsung with the wall that you have to go inside and see, like you walk under the bridge and see their virtual production studios. You know, that area can be, especially in Hall 3, can be overstimulating. You're turning your head everywhere, and there's lights and there's big LED walls everywhere. But it sort of goes back to my point that maybe, you know, if ISE are listening, maybe there is room for just a hall for the startup booths instead of missing out on it because you have to you're zoned into, and it's clever marketing, you know. The bigger companies pay the bigger money to be on that side of the booth. But like, if we could get all those startup booths together, I think that would be my change of things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me, both of you. This has been a wonderful show. And before we close out, how can people get in touch with you, Justin, if they want to?
Yes, well, you know, I did say I'm from Dublin City University. I do my own podcast, All Things Techie. I do a HETMA podcast with Joe Way called Across the Ponds, where you can find me there. You can find me at justinordawson.com, and I'm on all the socials.
And how about yourself?
Well, I don't have a podcast. This is the first podcast I've ever been on.
But you did well.
Well done, well done.
But if anyone has any questions for me, they can obviously contact me at my university at ahaggert@wlu.ca.
Wonderful.
I think we have to do a tour over to Canada and see what you guys have.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome to.
Absolutely. Well, and as for me, you can catch me each month here on the EdTech podcast at AVNation, and you can find me on most of the socials if you want, but find me on the HETMA community at community.hetma.org, and we'll see you next time.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
Hi, this is Jennifer Goodyear
and Erica Carroll
from the Women in AV podcast, where we are encouraged by the incredible stories of women in AV.
Listen in on fun, empowering conversations as we chat with inspiring women, breaking barriers and creating their own path in the industry.
Check out Women in AV on avnation.tv or wherever you get your podcasts.